It's a god-awful small affair to the girl with the mousy hair. But her mummy is yelling no, and her daddy's told her to go. But her friend is nowhere to be seen. Now she walks through her sunken dream to the seat with the clearest view, and she's hooked to the silver screen. But the film is a saddening bore, for she's lived it 10 times before. She could spit in the eyes of the fools as they ask her to focus on sailors fighting in a dance hall. Oh man, look at those cavemen go. It's the freakiest show. Take a look at the lawman beating up on the wrong guy. Oh man, wonder if you'll ever know. He's in the best-selling show. Is there life on Mars? It's on America's tortured brow that Mickey Mouse has grown up a cow. Now the workers have struck for fame, 'cause Lennon's on sale again. See the mice in a million hordes, from Ibiza to the Norfolk Broads. Rule Britannia is out of bounds, to my mother, my dog and clowns. But the film is a saddening bore, 'cause I read it 10 times before. It's about to be writ again, as I ask you to focus on sailors fighting in the dance hall. Oh man, look at those cavemen go. It's the freakiest show. Take a look at the lawman beating up on the wrong guy. Oh man, wonder if he'll ever know. He's in the best-selling show. Is there life on Mars? Indeed. And so I now come to the second of my American Horror Story cocktails for Halloween Horror Nights 26. 3 cocktails for the Haunted House American Horror Story, which was divided into 3 separate sections. And the second section, the middle bit, that's Freak Show. The freakiest show, yes. And that was, of course, the words of the late, great David Bowie. Miss him very badly. And his music was featured in that programme. A couple of years ago when that series aired. In fact, 2 years ago when that series aired, Freak Show. And so, to commemorate Freak Show, I have to come with a freaky cocktail. So I need some freaky ingredients. And one of them I thought of, one of the main characters in the programme, perhaps the main character in a lot of ways, Elsa Mars. She's the Mars there's life on, apparently. Elsa Mars, she sings that number wearing the same powder blue suit that Bowie wore in the video. Except, of course, this programme takes place a good 20 years before Bowie made the video or even wrote the song, so how is she able to sing it before it gets written? It takes place in the 50s in Jupiter, Florida. Right here in Florida, where a lot of carnivals and freak shows come to spend the winter. I need a freaky ingredient. One of the more freaky ingredients of all time is this wonderful stuff. Jägermeister. It comes from Deutschland. And so does Elsa Mars. How appropriate! So, oh, good golly wally wampus, I forgot one of the most important items that I need to do this video. The glass! I'll be right back. It's going to be a short break, but I'll be right back as quickly as I can as I run madly through the house. Madly through the house, madly, and I'm back with the glass. Without the glass, I couldn't do it. Just like all 3 of my American Horror Story cocktails would go into this oversized martini glass, and will be served straight up. And thus will be very potent, because 2 full of these will be able to go into it, and maybe a bit more. So, here comes the Jaeger into this. So you go pull, 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 all the way to the top and stop. Be careful not to spill any nice liquor on my keyboard. That would suck. Okay, pour it into. I really should take napkins and bring them with me when I do this. I haven't learned yet. Damn it. Get some on my body. Smell like a drunk. Okay, poured it into this nice stainless steel cocktail shaker, which I've used before, filled with ice. So that's the first ingredient. Now, just like in the previous one, vodka from Knight's Hall vodka, which is from the Netherlands. No reason, except this just happens to be the vodka I happen to have on me at the moment. Again, I keep it in my freezer, so it's all bloody cold. Good heavens, feels heavier today than it did yesterday. All right, pour the nice frozen vodka. It's not actually frozen. See, it doesn't freeze because it's alcohol. It doesn't actually freeze. Some things will freeze in the freezer. Wine will freeze in the freezer, but this won't freeze because the alcohol content is high enough, but it does get a bit thick. And it's ice cold, of course. When you do shots of vodka, you should make it as cold as humanly possible. And that's the way to do it. Put it in the freezer. Okay. The vodka actually freezes in your freezer. Something is wrong. It's too damn cold in there. All right, so I put a whole, and this is a little bit more than an ounce actually. So I've got an awful lot of Jägermeister and vodka, equal parts in here. Now I need another ingredient. What's going in next? Not alcohol. That would be a bit too much. But I was trying to find something that would be freaky to mix with it. Jaeger's freaky enough. And I thought some sort of wild fruit juice, because it's a carnival, it's a circus. You know, it's clowns, it's acrobats, it's freaks, especially freaks. So I need something bright and cheery and strange. You're thinking about the candy stripers in the hospital, all of that. And then I came across this wonderful brand of different sorts of juices. This particular is a strawberry guava, all natural strawberry guava gourmet nectar, but it's from a brand called Fruits of the Nile. It doesn't actually come from Egypt or anything, but it's called Fruits of the Nile. And I thought, well, how appropriate, because you can make a pun, Fruits of Denial. Right. And there are so many characters in Freak Show who are reaping the fruits of denial. I mean, oh my God, you could go on all day about that. Denial seems to be, and being in denial about what's going on seems to be the whole theme of Freak Show, more than any other season of American Horror Story. You know, from Jimmy Darling and his mother Ethel to oh God, Stanley's in denial about so much. And hell yes, Jimmy's dad, Del Toledo, my God, is he in denial about all sorts of things. If you haven't seen the program, you don't know exactly. If you've seen the program, you're laughing already, I'm sure. And his, and of course, what's her name? The one that Angela Bassett played. I forget her name now. I don't know why. There's so many different characters trying to keep the name straight, but you know who I mean. The woman with the 3 tits. Anyway, she was in denial about what Del was up to. And then, of course, Neil Patrick Harris's character, Chester. Oh, God, is he in denial about who he really is and what's going to happen. Dandy Mott. Oh, Lord. He and his mother both. Terrible denial. And, of course, Dot and Betty are in denial about all sorts of things. It just goes on and on and on. It seems to be the whole theme. You know, Shakespeare says, know thyself, and these people have no idea who the fuck they are. They see freaks in the mirror, but they don't know what's going on inside, and that's where the freakiness really is. So let us pour, except for Ma Petite. She knew exactly what she was and didn't mind. She was wonderful, and fucking Stanley had her killed. He deserved what he got at the end of that. And you can see what happens to him at the end of it, because they replicate what happens to Stanley in the haunted house. They'll give you a hint. They stole it from an earlier movie called Freaks, that was made way back in the 30s. Okay, I just pour the nectar into it so it's equal parts of the nectar, the Jägermeister and the vodka. We'll pour that in too now. There we go. It's become a sloppy mess here on my counter. I'll have to wipe it up. Next time, bring paper towels, Jimmy. All right, now shake, 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 shake. Okay, I'm gonna shake it, but not. I'm gonna stand back and give it a good shake. Oh yeah, shake it, shake it, shake it. Yeah, give it a good shake out here. There we go. Wow. The smell reminds me of the Surfer on Acid I had the other night with my friend Chris. An annual tradition at Horror Nights is to do a Surfer on Acid shot with my friend Chris Isom every year. And his wife Dana, except she's no longer his wife Dana now, it's his ex-wife Dana. And she wasn't there, so I'll have to do another Surfer on Acid with her when I get a chance. So that means I get to drink 2 more shots than... Oh my God, because they're not together, so I have to do 2 shots instead of just 1. Oh, isn't that fun? So when Dana shows up, I'll have to do a shot with her as well. All right, so we're going to pour this concoction, and I'm not even sure if there's going to be room for all of it. There might be some left over in the shaker this time. It kind of looks a bit like a Surfer on Acid. You can't tell from this picture, it's actually a dark pink. Let me see if I can make it, you can see it better. It's hard to tell. I know what would make it look better. I'd put some extra illumination on the cocktail. There we go. Now you can see it's a closer approximation of the colour. It's sort of a dark pink. And weirdly, it seems to be, variegate in colour on the way up and get sort of, I don't know if that's an illusion or what. I think it's pretty solid. Look, I can see it. It's sort of a pinkish colour, dark pink, but it looks almost brown here, but it's not. It's more of a pink colour. It's like punch. Let's see what it tastes like. But a darker pink than that of the nectar itself, because of course the Jaeger mixed into it. Oh wait, garnish. That's actually not bad. None of the harshness I was expecting from the Jägermeister is present in that cocktail. Not at all. That's amazing. Surfer on Acid, it's pretty, of course that's a shot, this is a cocktail and it's vodka mixed in. I'm going to put in some cherries to garnish. These of course are the famous Luxardo maraschino cherries that I've used before and shown you before. I put 2 of them in. Why did I put 2 of them in? One for Dot and one for Bet. Or is it Betty? I forget. It's spelled B-E-T-T-E, and I don't remember if it was pronounced Betty, like Betty Davis, or just Bet, like Bette Midler. I'm not certain. I don't remember. I'll have to go back and watch it again. I think it's Betty. Anyway, Dot and Betty, and 1 for each, because of course they had 2 heads on one body. So, and yeah, you can see in here, because it's hard to see. I can see them clearly, but use the light so you can see. There they are, 2 of them in there. So we got a lovely American Horror Story Freak Show cocktail. Damn, that's not bad. What's weird is you can taste the guava first thing before you taste the strawberry or anything else. The first thing that hits you is guava. Well, the Jaeger's in there, but it's been so mollified that it actually comes off as sweet, not as harsh. It isn't harsh at all. That's actually very good. I'm quite surprised at how that turned out. It's not bitter in the least. I mean, there's so much more in that. There's so much more of the stuff in the shaker. I had to put some more in the glass. Even this tall glass wasn't enough for it all. I have a suspicion that if I come back later to do the 3rd American Horror Story cocktail later tonight, I won't be sober at that time. I was sober when I started out with this one. By the time I finish everything that's in this glass and what's left of the cocktail in the shaker, because you can't waste the stuff, then, and eat the little cherries, then by the time I get through it all, I'm going to be a little bit tipsy, and it might make the next video, the one for hotel, amusing, quite amusing indeed. And then we'll be doing our cocktails. The next ones after this, I'll be doing all sorts of videos, of course. The next time I do cocktail videos after another American Horror Story, I'll return to the scare zones, and the first ones I'll be doing are the 3 cocktails for Survive or Die. And I'm thinking, I haven't got all the ingredients yet. I have to select the ingredients carefully. I have some ideas about them. I have to go out and find those ingredients. I might not get to it till sometime in the next couple of nights, which means a post-horror night, late night cocktail session with Dr. Jimmy, because that means sometime after I come home at 2 o'clock in the morning, whenever it is. I don't remember if the next couple of nights are 1 o'clock closing or 2 o'clock closings. I think the first 2 o'clock closing is coming up this weekend. At some point, wee hours, I might come home from Horror Nights and come out here with my ingredients and make up and drink a cocktail with you. And I don't know if I'll be crawling out to bed just in time to get to Horror Nights the next day. It's probably what will happen. We'll see. Not bad. Not bad at all. I really liked Freak Show. It might be my favorite season so far. I enjoy American Horror Story quite a bit, as I mentioned on my review earlier for the entire event based on the first 7 days. Previous videos that I made talking about Horror Nights 26. Yeah, I would have liked to see Coven and Asylum in the house as well, but I guess they only had room for 3 seasons, and so they chose 1, 4, and 5. But I really did like Freak Show quite a bit. It had a sort of happy ending, kind of. A lot of people you like get killed. The most horribly is Ma Petite, of course. And then some of them, the deaths aren't bad at all, because they go into the afterlife and are happy ever after as spooks, which happened in Murder House and also in Hotel. So death is not always a bad thing in American Horror Story, especially if you've got a good place to haunt and you're happy there. Then, hey, it's like, you know, if you could haunt Horror Nights for eternity, that might be fun. Edward Mordrake for real, huh? But some people, you know, the afterlife might be damnation, but others it might, you know, may not be paradise, but it could be just as good. So long as you're happy, then it might as well be heaven, yes? Even if it's a hotel in California. If you're happy there for all eternity, well then, hey. So even serial killers don't have to deal with damnation if they can stay in a nice hotel for all eternity, which sounds a bit odd, but, you know, and the real fucking bastards usually get in trouble, but sometimes they get rewarded too, which is weird. Or they get redeemed or forgiven, which is nice, actually. There's something, I don't know, downright Christian about that, I suppose. Although I'd hardly give them the theology on the program, Christianity. It's some other sort of New Age theology, if we want to call it theology at all. The only thing coming close to traditional religion is in Coven, where we do have a sort of devil and a sort of hell. Although I have to point out, Legba is not the devil. Okay, in voodoo, Legba is like the equivalent of Saint Peter. Okay, he holds the keys to life and death, but he doesn't take you to a hell world, and he certainly doesn't look like one of the Gaydai. Okay, he doesn't wear the top hat and the skull face. He's not, you know, that's Samedi or Cimetière or you know, Baron Criminel or one of the other Gaydai. La Croix, one of those. Okay, Legba can appear as an old man and sometimes as a little boy. He's the same person that's called Elegua in Santeria, and his position in voodoo is similar to Saint Peter in Christianity and Catholicism, but perhaps more to someone like Ganesh in Hinduism. He's the opener of the way and the keeper of of the threshold, sort of. So if you start anything, if you start a new project, he's the one there. He's the one who opens and clears obstacles. And also Legba is the one that you talk to first before you can get to any of the other lower. Just like you might pray, to a particular saint to get to God if you're Catholic. Not always, or not really pray, but you would invoke or ask a saint to pray for you, right? You would, before you can, in Hinduism, Ganesh is invoked before any of the other gods. In the same way, Legba is often invoked before any of the other lower, because he's the one who opens the door to that spirit world. And so it's not at all a demonic figure that you saw in Coven. They would have been done better by having that a sort of death entity like Baron Samedi, but who he looks like, incidentally. But and there are other more dark, sinister lower that might be better fit for that. There really isn't a devil in voodoo. Not in the Christian concept of a devil, so it doesn't quite fit. But it certainly isn't Legba, who's a benevolent deity at the best of times, or at the worst of times even. He's not a bad guy. Interesting trivia. Remember, what was the little kid's name? God, he's grown up by now. There was a little Cuban boy in Florida who was a refugee, and there was a whole thing about returning him to Cuba because his dad wanted him back, because he and his mum had escaped Cuba on a raft, and the mum drowned, and the boy got here by himself, and all of his family, his father was still in Cuba, but he had like some grandparents or something, or an uncle in Miami, and they fought over who got the custody. Eventually they sent him back to Cuba to be with his dad. Gonzalez, I think his name was. Elian Gonzalez. Well, there was a whole weird cult-like thing with the Santeros. They started thinking that Elian on a boat with dolphins, it was a sign, and this was a Legua. And that because one of the aspects of Legba is sometimes he comes as a boy on a boat with dolphins, and they thought, oh God, this is this is a horse, for the avatar isn't the right word here for these, but sometimes a person is selected, a horse. Okay, so it's like the God rides you like you're a horse. Okay, and so the spirit comes in and it speaks through you. So sometimes a person is specifically selected by one deity to be their special voice on earth. So sort of like that sort of thing. So not just a horse, but a stallion, I guess. I don't know what it is. Stallion, baby. Yeah, right. So I was wondering if that might have something to do with that. But they thought he might be or even Legua himself born on earth, as in that sense. So there was that whole thing, because you do get that sort of thing sometimes with people get excited by what they think are signs. I mean, if that were true, if these little coincidences were true, I mean, I would think every evangelical Christian would vote for Hillary Clinton. Why? Okay, the little Trump. A little Trump is the name of the Antichrist. Okay, a little trumpet, or actually no, the little horn is the name of the Antichrist. A little horn and a trump is a little horn. See, I'm getting a little drunk already. A trump is a little horn. So one of the names of the Antichrist equals Trump. Another name for the devil is Prince of this world, or King of this world, ruler of this world. Donald means ruler of the world. So both of his names, Donald and Trump, are names for Satan and the Antichrist from the Bible. Not originally in Aramaic or Hebrew, but translated into English, in Old English, to come out as Donald Trump. Isn't that frightening? You know what's even more frightening? Trump Tower is exactly 666 feet tall. I didn't make that up. You can look it up. You can Google it, find out how tall Trump Tower is, do the math, 666. That's it. There's all kinds of creepy shit like that with him. The more you look into this, you Google Antichrist Donald Trump, the more weird coincidences show up. So, I'm not saying he is the Antichrist, but he fits the pattern better than any previous candidate for president. Yeah, Hillary might be bad, but this guy's scary. So if you're an evangelical Christian, you believe all this shit, maybe you should go back and check, you know, your mathematics and all your ancient science in the book of Revelation, and notice how well they fit that one guy with the funny hair. Okay, Hillary might be the whore of Babylon, maybe not, but Trump's, you know, he's Satan incarnate. All right, now, what else is there? I should be talking about Freak Show, not about politics. But, dear God, I really liked that season. I mean, it got into all sorts of neat stuff, and of course Neil Patrick Harris showed up, and all sorts of interesting people. And oh my God, Finn Whitrock debuted on that season. He was in the next one, and I hope he's in this one, the Roanoke. I don't know if he's going to be, but damn is he fine. I don't mean to queen out a bit about him, but damn! And especially when he got naked. I mean, that ass. Oh my God. The whole thing was worth it. Even if you find the whole thing convoluted, you can't follow it and you get bored or whatever, the whole show is worth it for Finn Whitrock's butt, if nothing else. And Dandy Mott's a very intriguing character, and apparently this new season will explore the origins of the Mott family, which apparently are quite perverse. Also, I mentioned before in Murder House there was the Piggy Man, the murderer that if you say the certain rhyme about the Piggy Man in the mirror, a little Bloody Mary sort of thing, you say it in the mirror so many times, Piggy Man shows up, as Harvey, I think his name was, found out. Was it Harvey? Harvey's the guy who got burnt up, and I think it was someone else. I don't know. I'm confused. It's been a long time since Murder House, goddammit. It was played by the same fellow who played Stanley. Harvey is the guy who allegedly burned his wife. He's in the haunted house too, by the way. He shows up near the front and there's the burned kids. He didn't actually burn his kids. No. They committed. His mother did it, and his wife did it, and committed suicide that way because he was sleeping with Moira. Moira, of course, being the maid who goes from old to young that we also see in the haunted house. If you haven't seen the program, he was having an affair, but he was also having an affair with Constance. Constance is not in the house. That was a character played by Jessica Lange in the first season. Jessica Lange has been in all the seasons except for a hotel, and in Roanoke. She sort of stopped. Her last season was Freak Show, which brings me back to Freak Show. Jessica Lange got all kinds of Emmy Awards, even from the first season, and Golden Globe, so she did quite well. And Lady Gaga got a Golden Globe, I think, but didn't get the Emmy. But damn, it's a good show. And so Jessica Lange is in Freak Show, and you can tell I'm drunk because I'm starting to get rambling, sort of talking like Trump did near the end of the debate, sort of, you know, going from one thing to another and run on sentences without making any sense. So that's what happens when you drink this much cocktail. And I think, yeah, I've just about used up what's left in the shaker, and I only got a little bit left, right? So, as I was saying, as I get more and more blitzed, Jessica Lange's last season on American Horror Story today was Freak Show. And I'm sad because she is so damn good. Who would have thought when we first saw her as a young lady in playing Dewan? I mean, yeah, Dewan? What kind of a name is Dewan? In the 1975 remake of King Kong, which was so insipid. The first King Kong, terrific. Peter Jackson, pretty damn good. The one that they made in between, the Dino De Laurentiis, even the Japanese Godzilla meets King Kong wasn't bad. But this one here, this one with Dino De Laurentiis, and oh, they made such a big deal about Carlo Gambaldi. Is that his name, Gambaldi? I don't know, I'm getting names fucked up. 40-foot tall animatronic Kong, barely moved. And so it was mostly a man in a suit, for fuck's sake, just like a kaiju movie. But that whole King Kong movie from the 70s was so silly. Jessica Lange played this, sort of, dipsy girl, dumb blonde character named Dewan, who wanted to be an actor, and, was with Jeff Bridges, and it was hysterical. And the World Trade Center, of course, you always get a catch in your throat when you see the World Trade Center nowadays. It's not a bad movie, but actually it is. But you still have to watch it for the World Trade Center, if nothing else. Damn it! And but at the time, she looked like a horrible actress, and everyone said, "Oh my God, she's awful," and they didn't realize she's acting. Dewan is not Jessica Lange. She's playing a dipsy girl. She's being dipsy. Duh. That's who she's playing. In real life, she was quite brilliant. And so everyone thought, oh, this is some stupid bimbo. They didn't realize that's who she's playing. She's not actually a bimbo in real life. And it was amazing because after King Kong, she started making these movies that were really good. And people said, fuck, she's really good. Oh, we thought she was just some ditz that wasn't... Because they didn't realize she was acting, damn it. That was a character. Jessica Lange was actually a brilliant actress. Still is. And of course, she's had a wondrous career. And dear God, what she did on American Horror Story is outstanding. I don't care if you like the show or not. It's outstanding. She deserves the Emmys and the Golden Globes. And Constance in the first one, and it was Sister. It's like a man's name, but Sister Jude, something like that, in Asylum. And then of course. I don't remember, she was the Supreme, the old Supreme, and the new Supreme was taking over, and she was like fighting against it in Coven. I forget the name of that character, but especially in Freak Show, where she played Elsa Mars, and my God, was that a brilliant performance. Oh my God, because Elsa Mars was a freak who pretended she was normal and tried to hide her freakiness until the very end when they find out she didn't have any legs. Oh, I spoiled it for you. Well, if you go to the haunted house, you can see when she lost her legs. It happened years earlier in Germany when she was in a snuff film. She didn't realize she thought she was going to be a star and an actress. Turned out she signed on for a snuff film. But she survived. She survived because a doctor who was brilliant saved her life, and she made it to America with beautiful wooden legs that no one could tell wasn't her own, and she started her own circus, and all she wanted to do was to be a star, and eventually she was a star on television. Very briefly in the 50s, she had her own show and was a star until Edward Mordrake came to take her away to join the freaks in the afterlife. In that time she went willingly, and she was happy because all of her old friends were there. So it was a happy ending for her. So here's to Elsa Mars. That's why I started this video with Life on Mars, as a tribute to the character as well as to the great David Bowie. God bless them both. Of course, Elsa Mars didn't really exist. Ziggy Stardust didn't really exist. It was a character, but David Bowie really existed. He knew a little bit about denial too. Just ask Mick Jagger. And Iggy Pop, for that matter. Am I being naughty? Yes, I am. But anyway, God bless you, David Bowie. Even though you came out only to run back into the closet and say, oh, I was straight the whole time, I was just kidding. You were still an inspiration for a young gay boy who wanted some sort of role model. And your music was fucking brilliant. So God bless you, and I hope you're happy, whatever afterlife you're in. Dedicate this video to the memory of David Bowie. And so now, I will enjoy my last couple of cherries. At the bottom of my... I've exceeded a half hour. I'm already drunk. The next video, sometime tonight, before 10 o'clock probably, because I don't want to miss the next American Horror Story episode, which is at 10 o'clock tonight on FX. So, Cuba Gooding Jr. is Sarah Paulson's husband. Isn't that funny? Because they were like playing O.J. Simpson and Marsha Clark on that other program, which is also made by Falchuk and Murphy. Isn't that hysterical? Oh, and Scream Queens. I'm sorry, I love Falchuk and Murphy. I've loved them since Nip Tuck. I gotta say, I've loved them, and I love their show. I like Glee. I know, loser. I like Glee, and I was watching Scream Queens last night. Scream Queens is hysterical. It's like American Horror Story, but silly. And the characters actually continue from not just the actors, but the characters continue from season to season. And I recommend it. Green Meanie, I like it. So, and putting John Stamos and Jerry O'Connell in the same program is hysterical. And you should know why. If you don't know why, let me give you a hint. Rebecca Romaine. Okay? It's hysterical that they're in the same program. All right. So this is the end of this video. And a little bit later tonight, I will drag myself out here and make my third American Horror Story cocktail for Hotel. Until then, enjoy being freaky, because normal people scare me.